Current crowding is a phenomena we have said in the last class also. In a conductor, current flows from the periphery of the conductor. If it is circular, otherwise also if it is a rectangular, it will be flowing around the outer area of the conductor, not to the center if the frequency is high. Now consider an aluminum wire which is 10 nanometer, 10 centimeter long and 1 micrometer wide, and is routed on the first aluminum layer L1, AL1. Assuming a sheet resistance of L1 of 0.075 ohm per square, compute the total resistance of the wire. Implementing the wire in polysilicon with a sheet resistance of 175 ohm per square, compute the total resistance of the wire. Implementing the wire in the silicidated polysilicon with a sheet resistance of 4 ohm per square, compute the total resistance of the wire. So formula is here, and these are the answer for the question. Okay, A, B, and C. You try solving this question. Very simple. Putting the things. R square is given here. Different values of R square. L and W is given. You find out the resistances. So far we have considered the resistance of the semiconductor wire to be linear and constant. This is the case for most semiconductor circuits. At very high frequencies, however, an additional phenomenon called skin effect comes into play, so that the resistance becomes frequency dependent. Because you see, if it is flowing, current is flowing around the surface. Okay, consider circular conductor here. Around the surface only it is flowing, skin of the conductor. So area is the center area is not useful. Okay, then you have to subtract. If you find out the resistance, R equals to rho L by A, so this area is getting reduced. So if frequency is increasing, the resistance is going to increase. So high frequency currents tend to flow primarily on the surface of the conductor with the current density falling off exponentially with the depth into the conductor. The skin depth delta is defined as the depth where the current falls up to a value of e to the minus 1 of its nominal value. Nominal value can be low frequency value, the current. The skin depth delta is given by square root of rho by pi f mu, where f is the frequency of the signal, mu is the permeability of the surrounding dielectric, typically equal to the permeability of the free space, or mu equals to 4 pi into 10 to the minus 7 Henry per meter. For aluminum at 1 gigahertz, the skin depth is equal to 2.6 micrometer. The obvious question is now if this is something we should be concerned about when the designing state-of-the-art digital circuits. So whether to be considered or not, that is a question. In case of a rectangular wire, in the integrated circuit will be rectangular only, a sheet of metal line, aluminum line also. So resistance is in this case is given by this equation, R frequency dependent square root of pi f mu rho by twice into h plus w. H is the height or thickness, you can say, and w is the width, okay, of the wire, height and width. Say metal may be going like this, long way, length in this direction. You can think of length in the direction, and it is the width and height is given here. The increased resistance at higher frequencies may cause an extra attenuation and hence distortion of the signal being transmitted over the wire. To determine the onset of the skin effect, we can find the frequency Fs, where the skin depth is equal to half the largest dimension between W and H of the conductor. Below Fs, the hole where is conducting current and the resistance is equal to the constant low frequency value. Okay, so when frequency is less, whole area of the where current is flowing. When frequency is high, then it is flowing only through the outer area. Okay, so question is where, when, at what frequency rather this skin effect is to be started. So Fs is the same frequency, the frequency when skin effect is started. 4 rho by pi mu and max of this two dimension, width and height, whole square. Explain skin effect induced increase in resistance as a function of frequency and wear width. This is the example you go through, and it is summarized here in this way. In summary, the skin effect is only an issue for wider resistance, wider wears or interconnects. Since clocks tend to carry the highest frequency signals on a chip and also are fairly wide to limit the resistance, the skin effect is likely to have impact on those lines. Normally the line that is going to carry high frequency clocks, mostly they are the higher metal layers, wider metal layers. This is a real concern for gigahertz range design, as clocks determine the overall performance of the chip. Nowadays, circuits are operated at very high clock frequencies, gigahertz, 4 5 gigahertz or so. So it is a problem. Another major design concern is that the adoption of better conductors such as copper may move the onset of skin effects to lower frequencies. The frequency, this Fs is having a component rho. See that rho is there, and this rho value of rho is a problem. It is less in case of copper. Because of that, if you use the copper, then it also is a problem. Now, once again, the topic which is already seen or discussed a bit, that is silicidation. Silicidation is used to reduce the resistance. Okay, normal polysilicon is having a sheet resistance of 20 to 40 ohm per square, but that is also too high, even though it is heavily doped, but still it is this. So to reduce it, you can use a layer of refractory metal like tungsten, titanium, platinum, cobalt, nickel, tantalum, etc. Mainly tantalum is used in many cases you've seen. And what will happen? Silicon will form a alloy with these refractory metal, high melting point. I mean, it can withstand, this metal can withstand high temperature. So it is called refractory metal. Once you apply these layers on top of polysilicon or on the source and drain region, the resistance of those region will be less. That is the main idea behind this. So it may be reduced to 1 to 5 ohm per square from 20 to 40 ohm per square. Understood? So a lot of improvement is going to occur in terms of resistance. And if it is applied on polysilicon, then we call polyside. Some diagram is there, I'll show you. And if it is applied on polysilicon as well as on the on the N plus or P plus diffusion region of N MOSFET and P MOSFET, then it is called salicide if all this aspect is covered. For example, here, see here, only gate, complete gate material, that is polysilicon is not with polysilicon, rather it is silicide. It is combination of silicon and say tantalum. Then it is called silicide gate. If partially silicide and partially polysilicon, then we call polycide gate. If N plus region or P plus region and the gate is also partially polycide, then we call salicide, self-aligned polysilicon. Okay, so these are the various way to reduce the resistance of these regions. One term here, and the term is technology node. Technology node is what? We have many times said technology node or technology generation. The term technology node is used to provide a simple indicator of overall industry progress in IC feature scaling. Feature means maybe a small the length of your MOSFET or the width of metal, etc. Okay. It is defined as the smallest half pitch of contacted metal lines on any product. Historically, DRAM has been taken as that product, okay, because it is most densiest or densed, you can say, circuit, or very compact circuit in comparison to other digital or memory circuits. So in ITRS, this DRAM pitch is considered. Pitch, this one is pitch, the width of the line and the spacing. This is spacing. And metal and DRAM half pitch. Half pitch means the pitch divided by 2. Okay. That is taken as the DRAM half pitch. It is defined as the smallest half pitch of the contacted metal lines. Some metal lines may not be contacted, but it means what? Actually, contacted metal lines. Basically, it is the bottom metal line, not the top one. Top will be wider, so pitch will be larger. So contacted means where you are actually going to contact metal with the diffusion N plus or P plus diffusion of N MOSFET. This is once again the estimation of resistance and capacitance. If you have a length of L in interconnect and width is W, then you can divide the length by W and you get the number of square, and you can get the value of resistance if you have the knowledge of RH or R square. Hence, sheet resistance. If you know the value of sheet resistance, you can find out by dividing L by W into RH. Design a resistor of 3.5 kilo ohm using a layer with sheet resistance of 200 ohm per square. So RH is given here, and resistance value is given here. You have to design the resistor, how long it will be there and how it will be there. Assume that the minimum dimension achievable by a particular technology is 1 micrometer. With this information, you have to design it. I think you'll be able to do it. Are you taking the snapshot, or you don't want to read at all? Anyway, we are going to plan the exam in coming Sunday, second module. Yes, at 7 o'clock. Are you there, Prajwal?
Yes, sir.
Your second quiz from the second module will be on Sunday. So all of you go through the videos. Okay. Question from MTES syllabus. I am noting here for quiz LSI system quiz 2 on what is the date? Sunday is 26, right?
Yes, sir.
26 9 at 7 to 7:15 p.m. Go through, all of you go through the videos, and it is very simple things. So yeah, I should not waste time much on this. Prem Pravat, are you there? Still absent? Prem Pravat?
Sir, the other students are saying, asking if it is possible to postpone it to next week, like next Wednesday or something.
No, no, because we don't have time. We have to start second quiz, third module, fourth module, fifth module. You have fifth module. I mean 5 module. You know that how things will be done. Tell me how much time you have. I will start taking extra class in that case. Okay. You have given the lectures, not seeing and telling to postpone the exams. Then I have to take extra classes. Okay. Are you ready? You discuss and tell. I'll go slow and take exams if you want that way.
No, sir, they're not asking to postpone the lectures. They're asking for extra time. We can move on to the third module in the
Third
class.
module is given. Lecture is given. I should conduct the exams. What else you know? Want to know from me? Okay. Lecture is given. You read it and give the exam. That's it. It is same lecture what I am discussing. What is the problem? Tell me. You are getting so many days. I have given 1 week back, and another week you are getting, and only 7 lectures, and it takes 7 hours only. Daily 1 lecture if you see is good enough. Tell me what is the problem?
Yes.
There is no problem. Instead of wasting time with me here, you are going through that same lecture, and interaction is there with the senior students. All things have been done. It is just killing the time. If I repeat those things once again, and easy things. Interconnect is not a big thing. Anyway, so these examples will be giving you help you to answer the questions in the exams. Which parasitic resistance of MOSFET, RS and RD has greater negative impact on the circuit performance? Are you understanding this question? Kartik Rai? See, you have various resistances, right? In a MOSFET, and the structure is given here. In the channel, you have resistance. RO is shown here. Then you have RS and RD in the region, lightly doped regions. And then you have the RD diffusion and RD source. Means source side and drain side diffusion region is also having some resistance. We have discussed this matter. Okay. So question is, which one is more critical or going to create problem? Problem means delay only. RS or RD? Earlier we have denoted by RS and RD. Which one and why? Answer is here. If you are taking this screenshot, then it is easy to recollect and exam. It will be helpful in exam. This is RS because RS reduces the VGS as well as VDS. Okay. Now the line capacitance C line is given by this. It's a very simple and known to you. Kartik Rai, Himanshu Shogra, is it not? Is it not very simple?
Yes, sir, understood.
then why don't you go through the videos and tell me that this module is over, conduct the exam, we can move on to third module, third, fourth, fifth. There are a lot of things to do and we have very less time. We have only October. Why I have given you? Please go through. Exam is on 19th, sorry, 26th, 7 p.m. The interconnect line exhibits both parasitic resistance and capacitance. Both are there. One line is going and another line will be going side by side or one top of the other. Okay. So they'll be forming the capacitance because in between or there'll be what? Silicon dioxide to isolate them. So the line capacitance will be there, resistance will be there, and the multiplication of these two R and C is given as tau equals to R line and C line, which is nothing but time constant, RC time constant. Suppose the metal line is shown here, length L, and the output of the inverter is going from 0 to 1, make a transition. Due to this RC time constant, the B of t at the end of this wire will not be immediately high. The input Vs may be in this square shape. Immediately it will rise from 0 to high, but your output V of t is going to rise very slowly or exponentially in this way. So it is doing what? It is creating delay. Your interconnect is going to exhibit delay for the circuit because it has resistance as well as capacitance. R line as well as C line. Same thing, only if we apply a step voltage to the input side, the output voltage taken across the capacitor is given by this V out of t equals to Vd into 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau, where tau is RC time constant. And when t equals to tau, we get V out equals to 0.63 VDD, not full VDD. If your RC time constant is equal to t, then you get only 0.63 voltage at this side. Okay, other side of the interconnect. So to reach up to 100%, it takes time, more time. So it is also important to note that both R and C increases with length. Taking product of the two gives the time constant. So what is the thing here is tau, R is given as rho L by TW, this is area, and C is epsilon 0 epsilon OX WL by T oxide thickness. W is the width, L is the length. Okay, this gives the area of the. So as you can see that L and L square, length square, time constant is so squarely dependent on length. So lengthy wire is difficult, for us, because it is going to reduce the circuit speed drastically. IC designers used to ignore the inductance earlier, okay, in the first decades. It was not much a problem because frequency of operation was less also. Yet with the adoption of the low resistive interconnect materials and the increase of switching frequencies to the super gigahertz range, inductance starts to play a role even on a chip. Consequences of a on-chip inductance include ringing, overshoot, reflections of signals due to impedance mismatch, inductive coupling, and switching noise. These are due to the inductance. Okay, so it has to be also considered, cannot be ignored always. The inductance of a section of a circuit can always be evaluated with the aid of its definition, which states that a change in current passing through an inductor generates a voltage delta V. Delta V equals to L di by dt. This is a very simple definition. You might have studied 100 times. Okay, so you should understand, I hope. Yes, Himanshu Shogra, it is difficult.
No, sir, understanding.
So it is possible to compute the inductance of a directly from its geometry and its involvement. A simpler approach relies on the fact that the capacitance C and the inductance L per unit length of a wire are related by following expression: CL equals to epsilon mu, where epsilon and mu are the permittivity and permeability of the surrounding dielectric. I hope you understand what is permeability and permittivity.
Yes, sir.
Okay. By definition, permittivity measures the resistance offered by the material in the formation of electric field. It measures the resistance offered by the material in the formation of electric field, whereas permeability measures the ability of the material to allow the magnetic field. Here, magnetic field. Okay. Magnetic field lines, magnetic lines are forced to pass through it. Okay. And symbols are this. So you go through and try to understand. The caution is that for this expression to be valid, the conductor must be completely surrounded by uniform dielectric medium. This is most often not the case. Yet, even when the wire is embedded in different dielectric materials, it is possible to adapt average dielectric constants such that equation 410. 410 means what? CL equals to epsilon mu. That is what? 410. Yeah, this is 410. 410. So it still can be used to get an approximate value of inductance. The constant product of the permeability and permittivity also defines the speed at which the electromagnetic wave can propagate through the medium. So this is the expression where C naught equals the speed of light, 30 centimeter per nanosecond in vacuum. Okay, 1 upon square root of LC. So these are all important. C as well as inductance and as well as capacitance. The propagation speeds of certain materials are given here. See, propagation speed centimeter per nanoseconds of vacuum is 30, whereas silicon dioxide is 15. Above that, other materials also epoxy glass and alumina ceramic package are less than that, 13 and 10 respectively. So we have already discussed the electrical properties of the interconnect, where such as capacitance, resistance, inductance. These parasitic elements have an impact on the electrical behavior of the circuit and influence its delay, power dissipation, and reliability. Okay. We need to know the electrical models that estimate and approximate the real behavior of the wire as a function of its parameters. We have already discussed various power dissipation. That is what discussed here. And if you see the video, all will be available there. I'm skipping and going ahead. Ideally, a voltage change at one end of a wire propagates immediately to its other ends, even if those are some distance away. Ideally it is, but we know that we have come to know that there is resistance, capacitance of the wire as well as inductance also. So ideal case will not be considered anymore. Hence, it may be assumed that the same voltage is present at every segment of the wire at every point in the time. and that the whole where is an equipotential region. That is, if you assume that it is ideal or short, very short interconnector line or wire. This is very simple and ideal wire model, which may be useful when the designer wants to concentrate on the properties and the behavior of the transistors that are being connected. For example, once we start doing project on LSI design, we'll be mostly dealing with the MOSFETs which are connected to realize certain functions. Okay, like full adder, suppose sum and carry function has to be realized. We are not actually bothering about those critical things like what is the inductance, what is the capacitance, and resistance of the wires. Okay, we'll be first concentrating on how the MOSFETs are to be connected to realize certain functions. That is what designer first will try. Later on, he will of course take care of the those things. If he undoes the layout and extract the parasitics, then those resistance, inductance, and capacitance value will be available to the designer, and he can again check up whether delay of the circuit is acceptable or not. Anyway, going ahead, even though the line parasitics are distributed along its length, they are open lumped. See, resistance is everywhere and capacitance everywhere, but it is lumped as shown here. Okay. For lower frequencies and smaller resistive component, it is meaningful to consider only capacitor. So only capacitance has been considered. Simplest model of a wire. Only capacitance considered because wire may be very short and having wider dimensions, so resistance is less. So we can consider only capacitance. Assuming that the capacitance is discharged initially, I mean, this capacitance we are talking about, lumped, initially discharged. And assuming that the input signal is rising step pulse at t equals to 0, the output voltage waveforms of this simple RC circuit is this. This also we have discussed very recently in this lecture only. So the rising output voltage reaches the 50% point at t equals to Tp tau PLH, low to high, TPLH. Thus we have 50%, V 50% equals to this expression, and we get this 0.69 RC. We have also discussed this thing earlier. Yes or no? Yes or no? How much time is required to raise the output of the inverter up to 50%? Then 10% and 90% also have discussed. Yes, somebody is remembering, not remembering.
Yes, sir. We discussed.
Yes, sir.
So quickly we'll go through. Unfortunately, this simple lumped RC network model provides a very rough approximation of the actual scenario. The accuracy of the simple lumped RC model can be significantly improved by dividing the total resistance, line resistance, into two and putting the capacitor in between in this way. The transient behavior of the interconnect line can be more accurately represented using the RC ladder network like this. Keep on improving this way, then accuracy will be there in the RC time constant computation. Here, each RC segment consists of a series resistance R by N and a capacitance C by N connected between the node and the ground. It can be expected that the accuracy of this model increases with increasing N, where the transient behavior approaches that of distributed RC line for very large value of N, means you are dividing the total length. Okay. Yet the delay analysis of such RC networks of higher complexity requires either full-fledged SPICE simulation or other delay calculation methods such as the Elmore delay formula. Elmore delay formula is good to estimate the RC delay, etc. Okay. Or you go for simulation software, and that is what is done nowadays when you do the project. You'll be knowing this SPICE simulation will be known to at least those boys who are or those who are in the lab with me. Okay, I'll be giving the demo, and you'll be simulating how to find out the propagation delay TP, HL, TP, LH, and TP, then power dissipation, EDP, PDP, etc. Consider the resistor capacitor network here given. This circuit is called the RC tree and has the following properties. The network has a single input node called S in this figure. All the capacitors are between a node and a ground. The network does not contain any resistive loops, which makes it a tree. An interesting result of this particular circuit topology is that there exists a unique resistive path between the source nodes S, this is the source node, and any node Ni of the network. See, all the nodes are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And Ci, I is here. The total resistance along with this path is called the path resistance, Rii. For example, the path resistance between the source node S and node 4 is here. Okay. In the example of figure 4.12 equals R44 equals to R1. This is the R1 plus R3 plus R4. Okay, these three resistances are coming in the path. The definition of the path resistance can be extended to address the shared path resistance Rik, which represents the resistance shared among the paths from the root node S to the nodes K and I. And this is the expression for that. For the circuit of figure 4.12, this figure, Rik equals to Ri4 equals to R1 plus R3, while Ri2 equals to R1. Assume now that each of the n nodes of the network is initially discharged to ground and that a step input is applied at the source node S here. At time t equals to 0, the Elmore delay at the node I is then given by the following expression: TDI, tau di. So compute the Elmore delay for node I in the network of this figure. Using the equation, this 13, equation 4.13, we can compute the Elmore delay for the node I in the network of this as TDI equals to R1C1 plus, I've written tau T here instead of tau. The same thing. R1 plus C1 plus R1 plus C2 plus R1 plus R2 into C3 plus R1 plus R3 within parenthesis C4 plus R1 plus R3 plus Ri into C3. Okay, using this you can compute the delay of node I. As a special case of the RC tree network, let us consider this simple non-branched RC chain or ladder shown in this figure 4.13. The Elmore delay of this chain network can be derived with the aid of equation 13. 4.13 as this. Or the shared path resistance is replaced by simply the path resistance. An RC chain is shown in the given figure. Compute the equivalent time constant at node 2 and Elmore delay at node I. So as an example, consider node 2 in the RC chain of figure this. its time constant consists of two components contributed by nodes 1 and 2. The component of node 1 consists of R1C1. Obviously, R1C1 is there. With R1, the total resistance between the node and the source. While the contribution of node 2, this node, equals C2, this C2, into 1 plus R1 plus R2. The equivalent time constant at node 2 equals C1 R1 plus C2 within parenthesis 1 R1 plus R2. Tau I, Elmore delay of node I, can be derived in a similar way as this. Tau di equals to this. One example is given here in the book. Example 4.7, time constant of resistive capacitive wire. The model presented in 4.13 figure can be used as an approximation of resistive capacitive wire. The wire with a total length of L is partitioned into n identical segments, each with a length of L by n. That's what we have already seen there. The resistance and capacitance of each segment are hence given by R L by n and C L by n respectively. Using the Elmore formula, we can compute the dominant time constant of the wire as given by equation 4.15, with R equals to RL, small rl, C equals to small cl, the total lumped resistance and capacitance of the wire. For very large values of n, this model as asymptotically approaches the distributed model, distributed RC line. Okay, that accuracy will depend on the n number of how many segments you are dividing the total length. Equation 4.15 then simplifies to the following expression: tau dn equals to RC by 2 equals to RC L square by 2. By L square, here you see with R you have the L as well as you have L in C also. So this is the final expression, how it is coming, L square. Equation 4.16 leads to the two important conclusions. What are those? Tau dn is a quadratic function of its length, L square. This means that doubling the length of the wire quadruples its delay. Delay will be much increasing. The delay of the distributed RC line is 1/2 of the delay that would have been predicted by the simple RC model. 1/2, see, which has a time constant equal to RC, as is also obtained by setting n equals to 1. You put n equals to 1, then it's going to be same. 2, so RC. This confirms the observation made earlier that the lumped model presents a pessimistic view on the delay of the resistive wire. Actually, you have to take distributive model, but for simplifying our estimation or calculation or analysis, we do use the lumped model, with which the accuracy of estimation of delay is less. Just now, we noted that the lumped RC model is a pessimistic model, means delay is less actually, and that the distributed RC model is more appropriate. As before, L represents the total length of the wire, while R and C stand for the resistance and capacitance per unit length. A schematic representation is given here. Okay. R delta L, C delta L, and it is distributed in this way. The voltage at node I of this network can be determined by solving these following set of partial differential equations. This equation, the correct behavior of the distributed RC line is then obtained by reducing delta L as asymptotically to 0. For delta L approaching 0, equation 4.17 becomes this. Yes or no? Is it not correct? Are you there with me? Where V is the voltage at the particular point in the wire, and X is the distance between this point and the signal source. No closed form solution exists for this equation, but approximate expressions such as the formula presented in question 4.19 can be derived. These equations are difficult to use for ordinary circuit analysis. However, it can be used for computer-aided analysis. Normally, in SPICE or that kind of, even Cadence is having Spectre or T-Spice, Obtainer, T-Spice, etc. have implemented this kind of expression. So if you estimate the delay, actually your estimation is going to be accurate. Now on this figure 4.15 shows the response of a wire to a step input, plotting the waveforms at different points in the wire as a function of time. Okay. Here x equals to x is the length of the wire. Here is the starting point. Say this is Ly2, this is Ly4, Ly4. I mean 1/4, half, or 3/4, like that. 3L by what? 3/4. So this way, if you distribute, I mean divide the length, and at L by 10, see the delay is less, quickly rising. Whereas L/4, 1/4 position of the total length, it is delay is less, delay is more compared to this. It's rising, but very slowly. Further, if you take at this position, possibly Ly2 position here, it is further delayed. It is not rising, rather it is very difficult for the a driver to raise the output of this output node of this circuit, or see delay line. At the end, delay is more, it is not able to rise properly. At this point, if you consider this point, time equals to 2 nanoseconds, you see that values are very different from each other. With this, we can understand that how much the problem creates the interconnect in terms of delay. Is it understood? In terms of delay, why interconnect should be studied and understood. Observe how much step, how this step waveform diffuses from start to the end. You are inducing here this step, and it is getting diffused to the end of the wire, and it's taking time. If you held this signal high for a long time, possibly here also it will rise up to the closer to VDD or closer to the value, max value, whatever is, but it will take long time. Circuit speed will be low. Anyway, going further, we have seen this equation already here. Step response of lumped and distributed RC. Yeah.
Sir, could you continue next class? We have a quiz now.
Okay, we'll continue from here. Rather, It is also, this equation is done. So here is the table, lumped RC network. For 50% is 0.69 RC. We have already discussed. 10% 2.2 RC, 90% 2.3 RC. So these all more or less discussed. So you study yourself and see the videos. You'll get the proper views. Transmission line will start from here in the next class. Next class on tomorrow. Tomorrow is 21st. On 21st 9. Okay, remember we'll have the quiz on this. I expect tomorrow all of you, tomorrow you have any quiz? Himanshu, do you have quiz on
Sir,
tomorrow?
maybe I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is a one quiz tomorrow.
You don't know. Anyway,
No, sir, the
I
sir
am
has not cleared yet. So that's
not clear. Okay, we assume that not there. In that case, you see all the videos to the night, and when tomorrow I'll take the class, you must be saying that this is already understood. Okay, this kind of response I expect from you all.